Ain't too proud to tell you how I feel about you. Thanking God every day you feel it too. There is nothing that would make me turn my back. There is nothing that would make me cry. Like I don't need you, like I don't always wanna be here. Every day, every night, baby, nothing's better. Let me stop, because I just ruined that shit. Oh my gosh. Johnta Austin, man. What a beast, man. He's an R&B legend. That record's called Ride. Again, Johnta Austin. He's legendary. Production. I feel like he's underrated when it comes to the vocals. People sleep on him. This was a good-ass album, though. I forget what this is off of. What is this called? Love, Sex, and Religion. This dropped like, what, 2019, I think? I was on this every day for like 7 weeks, just letting the whole album run. It's one of those ones you can listen to front to back. Every track is good. I think the only one I didn't really like was the last one, and that shit still was hitting. And it was my least favorite of the entire album. I'm gonna have a quick moment of silence, man. I'm texting one of my people from back home, and this kid I went to high school with just died today. That's crazy. R.I.P. my man Andrew Rappold, man. He was a nice kid. I don't usually remember a lot of people I went to high school with, because I'm gonna be completely honest. If any of y'all watch this or see this show, a lot of y'all are very forgettable. And a lot of it is because stank ass attitudes. People just are mad corny, not people that I ever really wanted to fool with. And I know that sounds so negative, but it's just the facts about the place I went to high school at. But there are few kids that I do actually remember based on the way that they treated me. Andrew was always cool with me, always showed me love. So there was never any like issues. I never even would have thought about him in a negative way, because he's one of those cats that you see in the hallway and you be like, what's happening, bro? Cool people. And it's always reciprocated. It don't have to be any more than that with everybody that you meet. But like I said, never a bad vibe, man. Super nice kid. R.I.P. You know, my thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family, man. This is crazy. My friend was telling me that something happened, or I guess he had like a seizure and then got a lot of like infections or something. And then he was on a ventilator for 20 days. And then I guess today got called home. So R.I.P. Andrew. Anyway, this is finna be short and sweet. So later tonight, I'm me, Steph, and Priscilla. I don't know, maybe somebody else. I don't know if anybody else that had any interest is gonna be up by the time we do this. Because we're doing you know what? It's a late night session. I know that sounds crazy, and the way my face started lighting up and the way my voice went all smooth, like R&B mode, you probably thought it was gonna be real sexy, and it is. It's gonna be great. We're gonna be talking about all kinds of stuff. I got some questions that I want to ask them. But anyway, the actual conversation that we're having is more so about why it feels like it's appropriate for men to be openly sexual and be like they're almost celebrated when they have multiple conquests, things like that. But yeah, when girls do it, it's like a shame on you type of stuff, and then they get called all types of names and all that type of shit. But obviously, we want to try to keep it as light as possible. At least while I'm planning to open it up and make it light. So I have a funny question that I want to ask them, and we're going to get into that. I'm not going to say what it is. You're just going to have to watch the recording. It'll be up probably tomorrow. Because like I said, by the time we get done recording it, it's going to get recorded, and then I'm going to review it in the morning, and I'm going to post it in the morning. So, I think it's going to be great, man. My two friends are wonderful women who are very experienced in life, have a lot of great experiences, some bad experiences, and all three of us are like that. I have my stuff too, so I'm sure I'm going to find a way to get into the conversation, add my 2 cents. They're probably going to check me because as a man, I probably shouldn't be allowed to talk. So I'm going to give them the platform to speak their minds freely, say whatever they want, and I'm going to sit back and I'm going to observe. and it's gonna be lit, man. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, tomorrow. It's likely that it'll be tomorrow. We're not recording until about 9:30 tonight, Pacific time. So I know a lot of you niggas is not finna be up that late. But yeah, we're gonna get into that. Okay, let me breeze through this real quick. God, I'm still thinking about that song every day and every night, baby. Sorry. You know what's crazy? I keep seeing a lot of these posts popping up where right now, and I think it's been like this for a minute. But in the Asian community, Asian American community, they're taking a lot of L's right now, as far as like their community members being killed in random acts of violence. It's similar to what is happening in the Black community, but the scale is not as big, at least of how it's like portrayed to the rest of us. I think without being in that community, you don't know how great it is. So I don't want to say that in some dismissive way or try to be like, oh, in comparison to Black people, it's nothing. No, I'm just saying, as I'm not an Asian American, so I don't really know how severe it is, but I know it's severe enough to where people are talking about it. You see a lot of crime happening and a lot of random acts of violence, senseless violence, man. We have a young man named Christian Hall. And their people are also being killed by police. Apparently, Christian was, I guess, in a weird state. They said he may have had a weapon on him. The cops say that he drew the weapon on them, and so they had to shoot him. They're on a bridge and there's somebody that's down below recording from a car. Christian's standing like this, and then you see him fall over. So they shot him with his hands up. That shit is crazy, bro. I feel like if you're responding to a call that's just a welfare check, it's not even if a person has a weapon, it's crazy to me that these cops, we still have people on the force actively choosing to not actually diffuse the situation, and they're just shouting out their commands and then firing their weapon. You mean to tell me that none of y'all have any type of, like, it's not within you just to be like, let's just have a conversation? You ever think that sometimes when you get called to these welfare checks that maybe these people are just starting to like unravel a little bit because they're going through things, they're struggling with pain, they're dealing with family, unfortunate circumstances, all of those things. Maybe they just need somebody to talk to. But it seems like when they pull up to the scene, they go out there with the wrong intentions. And then it's crazy how they'll lie about, bro, they're lying about it. They said he drew his weapon on them. Bro, he's on tape with his hands up. This is a welfare check, and they killed him. So when you see us going crazy when this stuff happens to Black people, we're going crazy because we want it to stop, because we know if it can happen to us, the people that they give the least amount of fucks about, it definitely can happen to other people. We're trying to make sure that this don't happen to nobody, bruh. Because think about this. If there's not a person standing there recording that shit, the cops are going to say that he drew the weapon and that they had to shoot him. And then news media outlets and all those types of people are going to say, well, this guy had it coming because he drew his weapon on those people. Even though we got them on tape just doing the wrong thing because they don't actually want to do their jobs. That's a problem, bro, for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. Because in those moments, they actively make the choice to do everything other than their actual job. Because it's not your job to shoot them. And if it's in the rule book that is your job, maybe it's time that we rewrite the shit. That shit is crazy, bro. I was told a story today where there's a person, I don't know if he's like a mayor or a governor or something, in one of the Dakota states. Buddy was involved in a hit and run. And I'm saying Buddy because I don't even know if it's male or female. I just heard that they were involved in a hit and run. And I'm basically talking about this because we want to address the fact that people in positions of power just like to do whatever it is they want to do because they think there will be no consequences. This person was involved in a hit and run. They killed the person. They had evidence from that person's body in their car. And they got caught after the fact. A hit and run that led to a murder, basically. He or she didn't quit. They didn't get fired. I mean, they did. I think officially as of today, I think they're being impeached. But no action was taken. And for some strange reason, this person was allowed to tell the other people that they had to report to about this incident that they thought they just hit an animal. If you thought that you hit an animal, why do you have the person's belongings in your vehicle? You're in a high position of power, you have a little bit of money in your pocket, and you feel like you were actually above the law, even though you were somebody who walks around all day telling people that they should follow the law. You killed this person, and then you plan to walk away from it and make up a lie. And you know what happens to that person? They literally die in vain. They died without their actual story being told. It needs to be understood that this person died because somebody was making a bad decision or made a bad decision in a moment. And even if it was an accident, you mean to tell me you are so shitty of a human that you would drive away from the scene and then lie about it to protect yourself? That's crazy, bro. What do you think those cops tried to do? They're not tried to do, they did. They lied. They said that he pulled his weapon on them. But the tape literally says otherwise. He has both of his hands up. And even if he had a weapon out, we've seen videos of white guys walk around and they're involved in these interactions with cops and they have their weapons drawn and they don't get killed. They never seem to get killed. And in those moments, like I've always said on this show, we have to applaud those cops because they're practicing restraint. But then at the same time, I got to take my applause back because you're doing your brother a favor because he's white. And you're not giving me that same type of fucking favor. And you didn't give it to Christian either. And he's not even a black man. So when you see us out there spazzing out and raging, all that is for good reason. Man, you know what? I showed one of my students today a small little documentary on Malcolm X. And my student was blown away at the fact that the same things that he was preaching were things that my student had been hearing over the last year. And they couldn't believe that there were so many years that separated from the time when Malcolm gave these speeches until the times that we are in now. Years and years and years, decades worth of time, same problem. You know how crazy it is that kids can recognize this, but we got adults walking around all day acting like they're Stevie fucking Wonder. Can't see shit. Can't see nothing. It's pathetic, bro. Shout out to Stevie. I love Stevie. We really love Stevie. I'm sorry, Stevie. I had to make the joke because it was too easy, Stevie. I'm sorry, Stevie. But again, man, we talk about how you want to applaud a cop for having that type of restraint in that moment. And when he doesn't shoot the guy, but then you're like, come on, man, you did Buddy a favor because he looks like you. And then because the other people don't look like you, it feels like it's just easier to wipe them away. R.I.P. Christian Hall. Let's have a moment of silence. Okay. Y'all hear about the 3 kids that got kicked out of Catholic school because the school found out that their mother had an OnlyFans page. I'm not laughing at her. Listen, I saw the page. I had to research, for the show. Mom was looking good. And for the sake of the jokes, I'm going to say that the Catholic Church probably kicked them out because they knew they were not finna have a chance with moms. And those dudes are probably really pent up. They know they wasn't getting that. Maybe they got a little bit frustrated. Only thing you can do is kick them out of school because you don't want to have to see their faces knowing that they got a fine-ass mama like that. Good Lord. That shit could drive a nigga crazy. Like, damn, there they go again. Them damn kids with that fine-ass mama. And she in the carpool line and everything. Over there in that new Bentley that she got because the OnlyFans was kicking. I don't know. Okay, going back to the last topic, Gabby's in the chat. Hello, Gabby. Another reason why white people are taking advantage of open carry these days. These days it doesn't even take a cop to get shot during an altercation. I'm a little confused by that comment. I went to get my oil changed and there was a white older man with his gun on his hip, and I thought about what would happen if the cops were called and I was in here. I don't know, man. You live in Texas. Like, they've always carried guns for even when we were kids when we lived there. Like, that's just kind of what they do. None of that would be surprising me. The things that surprise me now are the places where it's probably always been open carry, but people weren't really doing it because they didn't actually feel like they needed to until like the last couple of years. It's tough to make that determination about I think with Texas, you just have to know that like those are the type of people. Like, they all think they're cowboys still. What do cowboys carry? Guns. None of that be surprising me. Because they're like, a lot of them are too. They're just like little redneck type of people. That's what rednecks do. All the places we lived in the South, these people just carry guns around. None of that's surprising. Is when you come out here. Like, I've seen people out here walking around with the gun on the hip, and it's like, what do you need that for? This is Seattle. No one out here is really trying to be on that type of shit. But they're like doing it because they're trying to make a statement. Like, they're trying to intimidate people. Niggas, stop. You ain't none of you older ass white people walk around with your guns on your hips. Y'all not intimidating nobody. We just know you're out here because you want to be a part of something stupid. And most of us don't want none of that bullshit. We don't want to deal with that. Like, positive vibes, baby. Like, be free. Go live life. Enjoy that shit. Go look at Shorty's OnlyFans page. I'm telling you, man, mom's is hot. Ain't no reason to be mad out here. Y'all really be mad because people be a different color than you. And you don't even know them. You don't know what they do on a daily basis. Like, why do you even care? Those people aren't your responsibility. Again, go look at Shorty's OnlyFans page. I wonder if we put some of these old ass, crispy ass white people onto OnlyFans and like maybe Black Twitter, maybe they'll start to enjoy themselves a little bit. We got to start giving them some of these things that we enjoy. And maybe their assholes will loosen up and they'll leave some of these people alone. Because y'all be out here doing the most for no reason. Like Buddy, who shot those 3 kids at the gas station the other day. What do you even do that for? They were bothering you so much that you're like, you know what, man, I'm just tired of it. We got to get rid of them. 3 kids that you don't even know? And how stupid does he feel? Because he probably didn't even know if they were adults or kids. Had no idea because he doesn't know them. He doesn't know anything about them. Why even mess with them? It's pointless. All right, I got 2 more things and I'm out of here. I thought it was funny because there's a thing I have saved that had audio to it. I'm going to play it. That way we can hear how funny it is. Y'all may not think it's funny. I was laughing because anytime somebody tries to tell me about UFO shit, I'd be like, nah, Cuddy, stop. You didn't see a UFO. You saw somebody rich probably flying some type of special aircraft they're not supposed to be in. Or you just saw Jeff Bezos' private plane or Elon Musk's private plane. It's got to be niggas that have the type of money that can build some shit that makes you think it's a UFO because you're so poor that you don't actually know that it don't cost a ton to build a funny looking spacecraft and make it work. I mean, it doesn't cost anything less than like a couple $1 billion. Who do you think has money for that? Those people. That's just my conspiracy theory. Now, maybe Buddy saw a UFO, who I don't really know, honestly, but we're going to play the audio. Let's play it.
Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us.
Maybe you saw something, but you didn't see a UFO. Stop it. Just stop it. Y'all gotta stop with this. Y'all not seeing UFOs, okay? You're seeing people who have money create things that you have not. You're just looking at prototypes. What do you think these people do all day with all that money? They use your money to build prototypes, and then they go out there and fly them. They don't have nothing to do. In the same way I'm playing Words with Friends, niggas out there playing with spaceship aircraft looking things. And then they want normal people who can never dream of doing some shit like that. They want y'all to think that it's the aliens are back. I say back. Because, I mean, we got to assume that maybe they're real. They made such a big deal about Area 51. You know how a couple years ago, people tried to rush that shit, which was crazy. I don't know why y'all was trying to do that when they talking about shooting. I'm not risking my whole life for an alien. Like, if I'm going to get killed by the alien, I think I'll risk it then. But if I know that in between me and the alien, there's like all these army troops and they're going to shoot me rather than run with me to try to experience the alien, I'm not for that. Yeah, I do play Words with Friends. Me and Mark are in a game right now. I stay whooping her. If Mark sees this, she's probably gonna be real mad about that because she's hella competitive. But it is what it is. I don't be really taking L's like on that game. I think I've maybe lost to her 7 times. We've maybe played like 15, 20 times. So, you know, it's about even. But still, above 500. That's all that matters. Yeah, so if you're on Words with Friends, hit me up. I feel like I sometimes have to talk a little bit of trash because my friend Walter, that shit wasn't even fair, bro. He be getting like 400 points a game on me. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Oh, I know. I'm not very intelligent. No, I am, but I just don't. My mind is not like, I can't look at the screen and then all of a sudden turn into a freaking dictionary like some people can. But like, I'll just be sitting there and I'm eating like a hoagie sandwich. I'm like, oh, hoagie's a word. Oh, I can triple play that. Oh my God. 65 points. Bam. You know, it's like that's how it works for me. Again, good, not great. All right. Does anybody know what Fry's Electronics is? We have a Fry's out in Renton, and apparently just yesterday they just decided to close all 31 of their stores without warning. And then they're blaming it on COVID. I don't know if you've ever been to Fry's, but it's basically like an indoor flea market for electronics. And if you don't know what a flea market is, I don't know how to really help you. A flea market, it's an outdoor type of deal. It's just people selling stuff. Like it feels mad sketchy. But at the same time, you know what? I mean, basically, like when you use like Etsy and things like that, those are like flea markets on steroids. Now we love that shit. But back in the day, man, like you're talking about going to a place and walking around amongst a weird crowd of people and you're just buying other people's junk. That's what Fry's Electronics is. I'm pretty sure some of the stuff is brand new, but low key, they just be handing you stuff like in like little bags. Like here, you need this like SD card here. It's not in the case or in like a packaging. It's just in this small bag. And then we stapled it at the top and then we put our little logo on it. Like, it's like weird shit. Yeah, that's the perfect way to describe it. Thanks, Gabby. It's the Goodwill of electronics, basically. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with Goodwill. Goodwill's fucking lit. I love Goodwill. But there's a certain type of vibe when you go in there. And Fry's definitely has that. So prayers up to all the employees that showed up for work yesterday and then left without no damn fucking job because the company just decided that, listen, it's Wednesday, we're out. Literally, all 31 of their stores gone. I don't know, and they're blaming it on COVID. Nigga, COVID, I know it's still going on, but the height of that was a year ago. Cuddy, if you was gonna close business, like you probably should have done that last year. Like, you mean to tell me you went the whole year and then like on the anniversary of it, you was like, nah, we're out of here. Like, you don't even want to at least give it till Friday. You didn't let niggas work till Friday. Damn, that's terrible. All right, that chamomile, baby. You know I gotta stay teed up. All right, let me put my R&B voice back on. All right, so tonight we got me, your host, Minkle Jackson. We got Steph and we have Priscilla. Gabby can't make it because it's going to be past her bedtime. She's going to submit her questions in the chat or to my cell phone. But we're going to have a talk. Me, Steph, and Priscilla. Stay tuned. Video will be up soon. Thank you for watching the show. This has been Lunchtime TV, which is the Me and Uncle Jackson show and the Starters on the Bench podcast, coming to you live. Oh, one quick thing, because this is our only sports topic. And because this show is based out of Seattle, I feel like I have to do this. Something happened today where people are saying that although Russ has not demanded a trade, and I'm talking about Russell Wilson, the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, because he hasn't demanded a trade, he did say if a trade was on the table that he had preferred destinations. A lot of people are now on the train of go ahead and let Buddy go because the experiment that you tried has not worked. I want to make things very clear. This is just my take on it, because they were in the group chat this morning, and it was me and my old roommate Brandon kind of basically saying that it's time to not get rid of him, but if he's to come out and ask for a trade him and get somebody new. Everybody else in the group chat was saying no. All he needs is an O-line. And maybe you're right. But I want to also tell you this. They've been saying that for years. And even when he has had a decent O-line, what has been the thing that has helped him win the most? A really strong running game and a really good defense. Now, I want to say this. I still know people on the team, and we're cool. It's no disrespect to any of y'all. You guys are unbelievably athletic. You are amazingly talented. I wish you nothing but the best. But you got to be realistic. You do not have the pieces to win or even go to the Super Bowl. Some of the teams that are normally on your schedule that you used to beat with relative ease are now becoming problems for you. You want to know how I know it's really bad for you? Because my team even went to your home stadium and stomped you like you were nothing. And my team is good, finally. 27 years later, we're good. But we stomped you. You guys started off the season fire. Everybody's like, why has Russ not gotten any first place MVP votes? And then by week 5, you saw exactly what the reason was. He is good. He had the potential to be great, and he probably still can be great. But as far as your window of opportunity, if you are a Seahawks fan to get another Super Bowl, especially with this quarterback, that window has been securely shut. And you know what? That window is actually attached to a guest bedroom that nobody uses. Maybe your aunt's going to come visit this Christmas. But you turn that guest bedroom into storage. Now the window's blocked. It's never going to be open because you guys paid such a high price tag to keep him happy. A friend of mine is in the chat. Shout out to Jay. Jay's trying to hit me with I got insider information. Jay, I'm sorry, bro. You already know my deal. I had insider information too for years. None of that shit even matters. You don't need it to be able to tell what their shortcomings are week in and week out. They have a great number 1 receiver now. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's a killer. But it ain't enough. Your quarterback can't just throw the deep ball every time. Also, your quarterback is starting to age up. What happens when his legs stop to work as well as that they do? They work very well most times. But now you're also starting to see where it's like you have to rely more on your arm. And if you can't make all the throws, what are you going to do? Also, people at other key positions on your team can't stay healthy because it's not just one person that helps keep your window open and allows you to keep walking through it. That door, that window, whatever. Your Super Bowl days were done the minute he was late on that slant route throw to Ricardo Lockett in the Super Bowl. It had been over since then. Because then when you start to see all the pieces of their defense fall off and go to other teams, and even though they have a 99 on their team in Bobby Wagner. And I say 99, I'm talking about he's crazy. He makes every tackle, leads the league in tackles. He can make every play. He can cover. He can do all these things. And they have Jamal Adams. But again, he can't stay healthy. What are you supposed to do? Now might be the time to bring in somebody who has a different type of contract, maybe a little bit younger. And if you got to go into the basement for a couple years, that's okay. I don't know, man. I feel like would I rather go into the basement now or keep pretending like I have a chance to go to the Super Bowl and it keep not working out for me? All because you don't have the pieces that you need. You definitely need O-line help. But how can you get that when all of your funds have been leveraged into your quarterback? You wanted to keep your quarterback happy. You're going to have to, you're going to have to pay the fucking price. This is it. It's not a slight on Russ. Russ actually has been improving year after year. Shit, even Doug and I were having a conversation about that. And I will say I'm only speaking for myself. I have told Doug on many occasions when we have sports talks, I used to tell him to his face, I didn't think Russ was a good quarterback for their team. And Doug would give me all of the reasons from an actual NFL player perspective as to why they were exactly where they needed to be and things were fine. I'm okay. I'll listen to that feedback. But you also have to look at where you expect QBs to progress after a certain amount of years. And you have to look at when the going gets tough, how do they perform? And usually Russ under pressure performs pretty well. But over the last couple of years, when they've really needed plays to be made in really big games, he has come up short. And that happens to everybody. Shit, right now in this last 4 or 5 home game stretch for the Lakers, it's kind of been happening to a lot of their best players. And you see it happening to other people around the league. Shit, we saw it last year happening to Tom Brady. It just wasn't looking good. Sometimes that happens. But a lot of that is due to the pieces on your team. And when you overextend yourself to get a couple of good players, you don't leave yourself enough room on the back end to actually get people who are going to be difference makers. You need your running backs to be healthy. You need to bolster up the offensive line, and you need to have your quarterback become a little bit more confident in his throwing ability and not just to his big monster receiver. He's got to be able to hit multiple targets and go through all of his reads and his progressions. And if he can't do that, you can't go to the Super Bowl, okay? Look at the quarterbacks who go to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, Mahomes. Shit, we even thought Lamar Jackson might be going to the Super Bowl. This year it looked like it could have been A-Rod. He won the MVP. They barely lost. And you could look at it and be like, oh, maybe they lost because of him. Maybe he didn't trust his leg talent to run for that touchdown, and instead he threw it incomplete pass, blah, 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 game over, whatever. But the people that we're talking about are like elite level quarterbacks. They're positioning their team almost every season to be there at the end. And although Seattle feels like they do that, they have not been there at the end for a long time now. And maybe it doesn't feel long to you. You're like, oh, we're only like 5 years removed. Because that's a long time. What was your Super Bowl year? 2013? 2014 maybe? You smacked the Denver Broncos. How did that happen? The defense, which makes it to where your offense can go out there and play very free. Your margin for error is so big. Now, no strong defense and doesn't have that Marshawn Lynch type of running game. And now the margin for error is like this. And so you see it, a couple of mistakes. They're literally like a few plays away from having a completely different record and either making a deep playoff run or ending up where they ended up. They're like a handful of plays away. But some of those plays are big-time mistakes and sacks that your quarterback took. And some of that, too, is because you can't actually expect your offensive line to block for 10 seconds while you look around trying to throw deep. You got to be able to get up there, snap the ball, get the ball out quick if needed, make quicker decisions. And as your legs start to phase out as you get older, you got to be able to make all the throws. And if you can't do that, you can't go to the Super Bowl. The show is over. Y'all be sure to go check out the late night session with me, Steph, and Priscilla. Shout out to Gabby for being in the chat. I don't know why I'm still talking in this deep voice because that's my sister. But even still, Gabby's lit. Shout out to Gabby. Thanks, Gabby. We'll see you guys later. And also, shout out to Mark. Mark is really good at words with friends. I've probably just been getting lucky. Mark, don't get mad, but take that L.